Good morning and welcome, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Tim Riggenbach, 3rd District Councilman here in Peoria, and I'm representing Mayor Ardis this morning, along with the entire City Council. Governor Pritzker, Secretary Osmond, Congresswoman Bustos, Senator Kaler, Representative Gordon Booth, Representative Spain, we welcome you and all of our local leadership here this morning to this exciting event. Undoubtedly, we're going to hear some stories and a little bit of the background of how a project of this magnitude actually takes place. And the restoration of Murray Baker Bridge is something that our community is so excited to see come to completion. And on behalf of the residents and the drivers of the Peoria area who use this bridge day in and day out, I want to say a resounding thank you to the governor, our federal officials, the state legislators, those at Idot, the Department of Transportation, all those responsible for making this project a reality. I do just have a personal anecdote to share, though, because my mom and dad used to always tell the story that the first time they drove across the Murray Baker Bridge was when they were racing to a Methodist hospital the day I was born. So, yes, believe it or not, Murray Baker and I are the same age. And if that bridge has experienced any of the joint pains and aches that I have, I'm sure it's very relieved to have this restoration project behind it now. So, without further ado, Governor Pritzker, welcome to Peoria.
Thank you very much, Councilman. Thank you. Well, thanks so much to Councilman Tim Riggenbach, and I really appreciate the chance to be here in Peoria, and thanks for hosting us. I want to also express my gratitude to Congresswoman Sherry Bustos for her leadership in Washington at helping get infrastructure funds for the state of Illinois. Hugely important. She's a fighter on behalf of our state. And Leader Jahan Gordon Booth, Leader Dave Kaler, Representative Ryan Spain, I am pleased to have the opportunity to serve with all of them in Springfield, working on behalf of the entire state of Illinois, but also the districts that they represent. And of course, they work every day to make progress for Peoria, for not just this city, but this entire region. When I ran for governor, I promised that I would work with the General Assembly to pass a robust capital bill to fix roads and bridges across the state so that we can create jobs and grow our economy. State representatives and senators from both sides of the aisle worked with me last year to create the bipartisan Rebuild Illinois Capital Plan, the largest infrastructure investment in our state's history. Since we passed that plan, I've presided over groundbreaking ceremonies for new projects all across the state. But today is different. It's a very special day because today we get to celebrate the completion of one of those projects as I-74's Murray Baker Bridge opens back up to the public later this week. And I'm proud to say that not only was this project completed on time, but also on budget. I'm glad to be here to celebrate that fact here in Peoria. This is an important symbol of the rejuvenation of the state of Illinois and also of the quality of work that gets done by Illinois' best union tradespeople. Sometimes it feels like good news is hard to come by these days. It's no secret that COVID-19 has made life harder on working families and created economic challenges for our state and our nation. But even in a pandemic, especially in a pandemic, we must invest in our state's future. And building the nation's most modern transportation systems means we're not just creating good-paying jobs for our laborers and operating engineers, but also inspiring businesses that rely on our great infrastructure to invest their long-term capital here in the Peoria region and across the state of Illinois, which creates even more jobs for us in our state. And it's investments like the rehabilitation of the Murray-Baker Bridge, which carries about 67,000 vehicles per day, that will extend our state's leadership in transportation, logistics, and distribution, supporting freight routes on Illinois' roadways. And it saves lives, and it saves money for Illinois families that use this bridge to get groceries, to visit their families, to see their doctor, or to visit their pharmacy. With its new decorative LED lights shining bright for both sides of the river to see at night, this new bridge is really a focal point of pride for Peorians and East Peorians alike. And that's thanks to years of advocacy from the community, as well as the team at Central Illinois' own Oberlander Electric for getting it done. This highway saw $42 million worth of drainage upgrades, bridge repairs, and resurfacing. Best of all, we got this project done in record time, months instead of years, saving money and protecting drivers and workers alike by strategically closing the road for work. Of course, Rebuild Illinois is bigger than one project. It's really about investing in the long-term economic success of our state. And I want to just take a moment to say that in the process of putting together the Rebuild Illinois plan, Senator Dave Kaler came to see me to talk to me about what was important in Peoria and how much infrastructure needed to be invested in this area. And I must say that having a partner in Springfield like him has been a huge benefit, but especially I want you to know that having someone who's such a great advocate for Peoria come and see the governor and advocate for what's best for Peoria, that's important to everybody that lives here, and I want to thank him for his hard work on your behalf. So even as we celebrate this project, we're not resting on our laurels. Many other major projects are ongoing in the Peoria region, including patching, resurfacing, and drainage improvements on I-74, improving guardrails on Illinois 6, reconstructing US 150's eastbound McLuggage Bridge, and replacing Farmington Road's bridge over Kickapoo Creek, set for completion late in 2020. And in September, we started preliminary work to replace the Pinecrest Drive bridge over I-74, set for completion late next year. I want to recognize the amazing men and women of labor who make sure that the work that's done is of the highest quality and of the best safety ratings. To their leadership, Executive Director Clint Drury, who's here today, President Matt Bartolo of the West Central Illinois Building and Construction Trades Council, we couldn't make any of these changes, these important upgrades, without you and your members, and I thank you for the amazing work that they've done. Across the state over the next 5 years, Rebuild Illinois will improve more than 3,300 miles of highway and 8.4 million square feet of bridge deck. That's on top of the work that's already been done in year one, which delivered $2.7 billion in improvements to over 1,700 miles of highway and over 120 bridges. Even amidst all of COVID-19's challenges, Illinois is still going and still growing. These difficult times have brought a whole lot of challenges to our residents, to our small businesses, to our frontline workers, and in doing so, they've underscored the vital importance of making smart investments that open doors for working families and ensure that nobody falls through the cracks. Rebuild Illinois is exactly the kind of initiative that helps us get there, dedicating $45 billion to problems that have sat untouched and unfixed for decades, taking the weight of car repairs and old public infrastructure off of our people's backs and supporting hundreds of thousands of jobs along the way. We are building a new Illinois. We're restoring progress in Peoria, helping to revitalize it as an economic engine serving all of the people of this region and of the state. So thank you, and with that, I'd like to introduce the Secretary of the Department of Transportation, Secretary Omer Osman. Omer?
Good morning. Good morning, and thank you, Governor. Today is a great day for Idot, the Peoria region, and the entire state of Illinois. We have completed, on a schedule, the rehab of the Mary Baker Bridge, one of the critical freight and commuter corridor in all of Illinois, and a vital link to the world-class manufacturing and healthcare centers in the Tri-County area. We are blessed. I'm a resident of Peoria, and I'll be the first to admit it needed some TLC. This $42 million project showed just how much Rebuild Illinois is a game changer for transportation in our state. Because of the governor's vision and the support of General Assembly, we have turned what was turning into a depressed asset in our system into something we all can be proud of. You will see the result for yourself once this road reopens to traffic, weather permitting, this weekend. And these lights, once they are fully operational, will showcase this bridge and this region like never before. Just imagine how would they fit when we do a 4th of July celebration at the riverfront. Just imagine how the lights will fit along with the Festival of Lights in East Peoria, or any special event we in the city or in the Tri-County area may want to have. The Mary Baker Bridge rehab is really defined by 3 words: faster, cheaper, and safer. By deciding early on to close the work zone and condense the schedule, we have accomplished all 3 of this on this project. No traffic meant we would accelerate the improvement. Workers did not have to contend with light traffic, and drivers did not have to travel through a construction site, a situation that provided us the safest experience possible. And the shorter time frame meant we could deliver this project at the lowest cost. What that all means is we deliver this project with the least impact possible to local businesses, commuters, and residents in this region. At IDOT, we know the lesson learned here can be carried over to other projects. We had a great team in our District 4 working on this project, and I want to acknowledge a few of them. And I'm going to start with the design team that was led by Program Development Engineer Karen Dvorsky, Project Engineer Rich Dotson, Squad Leader and Designer Kevin Horst, and with the design consultant team of Majeski and Masters. And of course, on the construction side, I will start with the construction engineer Sally Terzan, the resident engineer Eva Strout, supervising engineer Nick Volk, both of whom are way in the back there. And of course, I'll have to acknowledge the regional engineer, Council Garnett. Council is right here with us. We are immensely proud of your entire team and what they have accomplished. I also want to thank and recognize the prime contractor on this project. The prime contractor is ICC of Elburn, Illinois. I had a chance to tour the project last week and be on the bridge. What a quality work that was. You all will see it once we open it up over the weekend. The work is just attention to detail, what the contractor have done in as far as their schedule on expediting it, the trades, all the trades, including the electrician, the carpenters, and the labor. It was a phenomenal job, and for that I'm very, very thankful. but I also want to offer my appreciation to you, the motorists. You have proven to be extremely adaptable with this project. I close by asking you to please remain patient and continue to pardon our dust while we rebuild Illinois. And now I am absolutely privileged to introduce to you one of our infrastructure champions, our Congresswoman Bustos.
Thank you, Omer. Do you know how you finish a project on time and within budget? You use organized labor to get the job done. Do you know how you rebuild Illinois? You dream big. And the only way you can complete dreaming big is what you have behind us. Democrats, Republicans, the House, the Senate, federal, local, state, everybody coming together to make that happen. So I want to congratulate the City of Peoria for completing this project within budget and on time. There's something to be said for that. Now, what's ahead? I'm a member of the Congress, which means that I play a role in making sure that the federal portion of funding can come through, not just for projects like what we have behind us, but for future projects. I've served on the Transportation Infrastructure Committee up until this session in Congress, and now I serve on what many consider the most powerful committee in all of Congress, which is the Appropriations Committee. So many projects, when you look at transportation, are a 90-10 split, sometimes 80-20, but that 90 or that 80 is federal funding. Just within about the last month, we passed something called the Moving Forward Act in the U.S. House of Representatives. Now, why that's notable is because just like Governor Pritzker's plan, the biggest capital bill in the history of the state, the Moving Forward Act is the biggest infrastructure package in the history of our nation. $1.5 trillion. That equates to 9 million jobs that we will need to create as we get on the other side of this pandemic. I've supported that. It passed. Unfortunately, it sits on the Senate side with about 400 plus other bills. So I share that with you in context that 8 days from today we have an election. And I'm hoping that better days are ahead where we can pass legislation not just on the House side, but also on the Senate and can be signed into law. Governor Pritzker, I'm your partner in this. To the City of Peoria, I'm your partner in this, and we'll do what we can to move this $1.5 trillion bill forward and make sure that we can have many more projects like what we are seeing here today. Better days are ahead. With that, I would like to introduce Leader Jahan Gordon Booth, and she will talk about this from the State House perspective. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. And of course, I want to thank Governor Pritzker and his staff and all that were involved in making today possible. I want to begin by thanking the men and women of organized labor who, at the start of the pandemic, there was a question as to whether or not this bridge work would proceed forward. And thankfully, we're here today because when many of us were hunkering down and sheltering in place, they began the work of what we now know is literally one of the most beautiful bridges in this country. I really do believe that this bridge, the lighting of this bridge, is really a symbol for the future of Peoria and for the trajectory of this state. This is just the beginning. As has been articulated before through Governor Pritzker and Congresswoman Bustos, we are moving forward. As a state, we are moving forward as a country, and we're going to continue to make the strategic investments that are necessary to move this state and move this country forward with bipartisan leadership. The symbol of this lit bridge, when you think about what a bridge does, a bridge connects two sides that without that bridge would have a very difficult time being actually connected, where people could go to and fro. when I think about this lit bridge and how it looks and the excitement that so many people in our community had just a few short weeks ago, whether you were downtown and you saw the bridge yourself, or if you happened to see a post on social media, there was such great pride in the lighting of this bridge. And I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I was absolutely honored to play a role in this space as one of the lead negotiators in the House, working with the Pritzker administration and helping to secure this. This lighting a new way, lighting a new path for Central Illinois is our top priority. And I say our because whether it is Congresswoman Bustos, Senator Kaler, Leader Spain, Governor Pritzker, we are a team, and we are putting people first. And that is a very proud statement to make because every community can't make that same statement, but I can say that comfortably here. We all know that for quite some time, folks in Peoria, and to be honest with you, all across downstate Illinois, have felt like Chicago and Cook County had been the focal points for economic development opportunity and every policy-making decision in this state. But when Governor Pritzker ran for office, he made some promises to us here in Peoria. He made promises that he was going to come back. He made promises that he was going to work on both sides of the aisle. He made promises that he was going to make strategic investments in this state, and specifically in this community that was going to help push this community forward. And we stand here today with the first of many projects to come. Promises made, promises kept. This is important because when we think about what this $33 billion capital construction plan means for Peoria, it is really the turning point in the trajectory of this state, the trajectory of Central Illinois. Peoria is not just a place, sitting in Central Illinois, but Peoria is the economic engine for Central Illinois. So goes Peoria, so goes everywhere else around us. So the more strategic investments that we have to change the trajectory of this community, the more that we are changing the trajectory of the entire Central Illinois region. I know that there are many speakers to come, so I want to close and say the job opportunities that come not just from the bridge work, but when you think about the economic development opportunities that come from having literally, I think we should quote this, one of the most beautiful bridges in the country. I think we also should be thinking about the tourism dollars and the other tertiary benefits of having something that is so unique and so very much ours. You guys, this is not just about those of us that are standing up here at this microphone today, but this is about our community. This is something that we can all lay our names on and claim because that bridge belongs to us. So I want to thank you for sending us down to Springfield and to Washington to represent you, and we look forward to having much more of these conversations and bringing it home to Peoria. Thank you. I always do this. I want to bring up someone who was very much so a partner of ours in getting this done. Oftentimes, when you think about the discord that you see happening in Washington, D.C., and sometimes here in Illinois, I can tell you how you get big things done. You get big things done by working together. And on this policy and many others, we worked together to get this done in 2019. And I can tell you that there was no greater partner to work on this last year than Leader Ryan Spain. There were many meetings, and Secretary Osmond came in on them, where he and I would be plotting with Senator Kaler on the phone on the other side of the Capitol, working on his stuff, at the same time helping us plot and plan about how to create a better Peoria. And so I wanted to share that little note with everyone because I think it is important that people know that in this community, we put partisanship aside and we work together. With no further ado, Leader Ryan Spain.
Well, thank you for that very kind introduction. This is a wonderful day for Peoria, and Governor, thank you for joining us here. You've never been a stranger to our community, and we very much appreciate that. There are so many things to go around for this project and this bridge that sits right behind us, but let me mention again, because they've done such an incredible job, our Idot leaders who are here with us today, Kinsel Garnett, Karen Dvorsky, I hope is here somewhere. The entire Idot team is incredible. and especially the team here in the Peoria area does a wonderful job on behalf of our entire region. And then let me thank where the real hard work came from. That is our men and women of the building and construction trades that are joining us here today. And Clint and Matt, and I see Jimmy Dillon in the back, and Tim Schmidt-Gall, thank you all and to your members for the incredible hard work, really beginning in March and experiencing every element of the seasons, including snow here today, which is such a 2020 thing for all of us as we gather here today. So thank you to the building trades. You know, bridges are important, and this day means a lot to us all, not just to the 400,000 people that live in this region whose commute time will be greatly improved as the result of reopening this bridge. But the bridges, to me, and this one in particular, represent something, and you've heard other speakers talk about just how truly symbolic it is. And bridges obviously connect two sides. And here in our state, I'm very proud of the work that we have done and what it means within Rebuild Illinois, that we have connected two sides together, that Republicans and Democrats have worked together in true bipartisan cooperation to achieve something incredible, to invest in ourselves, to invest in our infrastructure, to invest in the people of the state of Illinois. It truly is something that we should all be very proud of. And obviously we're coming close to an election, and I'm looking forward to November 4th, when we can move forward again as a country and continue this great work of bipartisan cooperation that means so much to all of us. You heard a little bit about how this project came together, and I am very proud to have participated and served in the bipartisan working group that negotiated and really presented this capital bill for Rebuild Illinois. And I couldn't be happier to have worked alongside two very important people here in Peoria that I consider very dear friends. And the first is our Peoria native, our Bradley graduate, our Secretary of IDOT, Omer Osman. Secretary Osman, thank you. Where'd you go? Thank you so much for your work and your efforts on behalf of Peoria, our entire region, and the entire state of Illinois. Rebuild Illinois would not have happened without you, so thank you very much. And then finally, to my friend, Leader Jahan Gordon Booth, there were a lot of negotiations and planning that took place in the 6th floor of the Capitol for many weeks and, in fact, months in the spring of 2019. And I couldn't be more honored to work alongside Jahan for the betterment of Peoria. And I agree, there is something special about this community, that we put our partisan differences aside, we work together to truly cooperate and accomplish something that's incredible. So Jahan, thank you for your leadership and your endless advocacy for Peoria. You're fantastic. This is a great day for Peoria. This is something that means a lot to our community. And as we prepare, hopefully this weekend, Mr. Secretary, but as we prepare to reopen this bridge, as we illuminate this structure, I hope that it will truly serve as a reminder for all of us in this community and beyond that the bright lights of Peoria will never be dimmed. Thank you. And now let me introduce another great partner for Peoria, our state senator, Senator Dave Kaler.
Thank you, Paul. First of all, thank you to the contractors and for organized labor for getting this project done on time and on budget. It's tremendous. You know, Governor, this represents the lifeblood of this community. I mean, this road here, I can't describe to you the anxiety that I had last spring when I heard that the bridge was going to close for several months. My first thought was, how am I going to get to Costco? I live up on the East Bluff there, and after trying to map it out and plan my route, everything is fine. But I'm really looking forward to this weekend when that bridge opens again, because that tells you really the importance of it for this community. If you ever look at a map of Illinois, you'll see that we are kind of the crossroads of America. Everything comes through Illinois. And so when it was time to make a decision on supporting a $45 billion capital plan, the largest in the history of the state, which meant creating a 21st century infrastructure and using local union tradespeople to do it, the answer was very simple. It was yes. And the fact that it was done in a bipartisan way with Republicans and Democrats in both the House and the Senate doing it made it even that much more important, because together we invest in our future. And that's what this is all about. I won't try to repeat what the other speakers have said. This is an important day for us, and I want you to help me in welcoming back up to the podium Governor who can answer some questions. But Governor Pritzker, thank you for your leadership on this.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and happy to take any questions from members of the media. I'll call on the Secretary to answer your question because he knows better than I do.
We're actually shooting for Friday, but most likely it's going to be Saturday, Halloween.
Saturday at night, Saturday morning?
Probably in the evening is what we're thinking.
Will it be orange?
It should be.
Secretary, how far does the timeline move up by closing down the bridge instead of keeping it open?
Say that again. Well, typically when you do a bridge like this, you're looking at what you would call a state construction. You know, perhaps moving traffic on one side of the bridge and doing it one at a time. We probably at least have saved 2 construction seasons, at least 2 construction seasons. So to get it done in about 10 months or even less than 10 months and 1 construction season, that was great for us.
For lay folks, what is 2 seasons?
I'm sorry?
You said 2 seasons. What is 2 seasons? How long is that?
Oh, the entire summer, 2 construction. Yeah. It is rare. It is rare that we have the opportunity to do that. Just, I may want to add, just last week we have opened up Interstate 255 in the Metro East. That entire section is about 7-mile section, about $67 million. It's part of the RBI. We had that interstate shut down, but we had the privilege of other infrastructure in and around the area where we diverted traffic to. In our case here, Peoria is really, or the Tri-County area is really blessed with multiple bridges, the Bob Michael Bridge right next to us, the McNaughton, in Pekin, and other bridges, and the McLuggage too. So that made it easy for us to be able to shut it down and divert traffic. But it's pretty rare that we do that. But what we're trying to do, and we've been talking to the governor about this, and he is pushing us into this direction, is do it faster, do it cheaper, and safer. And that's what we're trying to do. So we, across the state of Illinois, we are looking at a specific project where we could apply this kind of model of construction.
Secretary, PIO Idot says that the city of Peoria controls the LED lighting on the bridge. Does that mean that just because the bridge is opening this weekend, the lights may not necessarily be on for that? Do you all have any part in that at all?
So I'm going to call a friend for help. Council? Yeah. Sorry to put you on the spot, but the question is, how is the lighting system going to work after we open with the city controlling it?
No, I don't control it. No, sir. We have a maintenance agreement with the city of Peoria, and then the city of Peoria may have others come in, such as Peoria County, Tazewell County, East Peoria. But it'll be a cooperative effort.
How far is the lifespan of the bridge extended by this work? Does it keep it, in shape for another 20, 30 years?
Absolutely. At least 20 to 30 years.
It might be a good idea, Mr. Secretary, if you would explain one of the things that we've done is improve the way we prioritize projects, and that we focus on the long term, which saves money, for the people of Illinois for many, many years to come.
Absolutely. What the governor is referring to is throughout the capital bill and the RBI, when we looked at the list of projects, we have focused on the existing infrastructure and how can we, in a judicious way, in a data-driven way, assess the existing infrastructure and repair it at the right time for us to gain another 20, another 30, another 40 years. And this one particular bridge is a perfect example of what we've done. That's what we call the TAMP, which is Transportation Asset Management program that we have studied for a couple of years at least, and we have partnered with our federal FHWA, and we get their approval and concurrence with the way we are looking at our asset for the long term, and that's what the governor is referring to.
I want to just add to that, because it's actually a pretty exciting thing that's never been done in the history of our state. This Transportation Asset Management Program allows us to, instead of waiting until something is crumbling and falling apart and where it needs to be entirely replaced, that instead we're catching the repairs much earlier, which gives any infrastructure that we're rebuilding a much longer lifespan. And it's cheaper for the state of Illinois, less expensive for the taxpayers as we go to rebuild things, instead of just waiting till it's, useless and gets a D grade, from the civil engineers.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.